Today, President Biden laid out his plans to cancel tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt for millions of Americans. And here's how it'll work. Borrowers who make under $125,000 a year will have $10,000 of their federal student loans forgiven. Those who went to school with Pell Grants will get $20,000 of their debt forgiven. And the pause on student loans payments is extended for a final time through December 31st. The president believes this gives many Americans the opportunity to move forward to financial stability.
All this means people can finally crawl out from under that mountain of debt, to get on top of their rent and their utilities, to finally think about buying a home or starting a family or starting a business.
Now, most people will need to prove their income to get their debt canceled. An application is expected to be available before the end of the year. Now, some Democrats say the move doesn't do enough to help Americans who are struggling with debt, and many Republicans criticize the loan forgiveness for being a handout that will just make inflation worse. I spoke with Dr. Sanjay Varshney, the chief economist of the Sacramento Business Review, for a look at the bigger picture. Will this debt relief, will it impact the job market itself that we're currently seeing?
Actually, as an economist and as an educator, I find the decision to forgive debt at this point in time a little bit strange and puzzling. This is the best job market of our lifetime. We have unemployment rate at less than 3.5% nationally. We have 5 million more jobs available in the market than the number of people to fill those jobs. If you talk to most employers, they mostly complain about not being able to find the labor because there's an acute labor shortage, or they have to pay substantially more to basically attract and retain labor. So in this kind of a market, you should ask the question, why are you forgiving student debt when these students who are graduating should be able to find jobs and be gainfully employed and be able to pay their bills?
And what about the other side of the argument for people who say, I went to college, but I didn't get the job, or I didn't get the high-paying job that I was hoping to get, even though I paid all this money in student loans? What about the other side of the conversation?
That is an excellent question. And actually, that is a root of the problem, which nobody wants to talk about. The question that should be asked is, what explains the education industry charging tuition that has gone up at more than 9% annualized over the last 30 years, when inflation was only 2%? What explains the tuition bills rising higher and higher for the ordinary people in the United States? When university presidents and administrations show a promise to students to lure them in, saying, hey, by the way, get an education, come invest in your future. And many students do. They actually take out loans in many cases because they're not able to pay for the tuitions from any savings they may have. So what explains why these university presidents are not being held accountable?
Do you think it's going to be hard to get people to pay their student loans back after this forgiveness?
I think so. I think this is a signal to people that if you're smart and you want to play the government and you want to play the economy, don't pay anything, because the day is not too far that if they get lucky, Congress may actually decide to forgive the whole thing, because that's exactly what the argument has been. There's a lot of people, even in President Biden's own party, that are not happy with his decision because they expected everything to be forgiven, not just $10,000.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
Now, no surprise, this has gotten a huge reaction online, and you've been making yourselves heard. Jimmy says that the president needs to fully commit and get rid of all student loans for people making under $125,000 a year. They also say if the president was to do this and fix the cost of prescription drugs. Darren asked if people who have already paid off their loans get a $10,000 check. He thinks that when a student signs onto their loans, they have an obligation to pay them off. And then finally, Debbie says that once again, responsible people will end up paying for those who made bad decisions, and that she's tired of Democrats pandering for votes. Keep the comments coming. Let us know what you think. All you have to do is just shoot us an email at tothepoint@abc10.com.